local history, local culture, local events, your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are at the Munson. I almost said Munson Williams Proctor. We are at the Munson on Genesee Street. Lots going on down there this week. The outdoor shows coming up. We're going to be talking about that. We'll also be talking about Fountain Elms. We'll talk about the permanent collection here at the Munson. We've got a great person to talk about that with, and that's Stephen Harrison. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I remember you were on the show a couple years ago when you first started. So what, are you in your second or third year now?
My third year here at Munson.
Okay. And we want to talk a little bit about both buildings. On the north side, we've got the Munson, where we're sitting today in the auditorium. How many people fit in here? Do you know offhand? It's a nice little auditorium.
Several hundred.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly the number,
Yeah.
but...
And they have movies in here, and
That's right.
from time to time I come down for a movie. And there are movies that you don't see at the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're kind of offbeat. How would you describe it, Stephen?
Well, independent films and
Yeah.
movies that didn't get a lot of popular notice, but were critically acclaimed.
Mm-hmm. And you've got two titles, Chief Curator and Director, correct?
That's right.
Now, I know because we were talking before the show that you have always got something new going on. You want Munson to be new.
Well, exactly. This Museum of Art, the Munson Museum of Art, is really one of the greatest collections of 20th century art between New York City and Chicago. And I think sometimes when you live in a town, you don't often realize just how much people think of it from afar. And we get a lot of tourists, a lot of people in the summertime going to Niagara Falls or up to the Adirondacks, and they make a point of stopping in Utica to see the Munson Museum of Art. And one thing I would like to do is to make sure that we have most of our masterpieces out on view at all times so that people can enjoy them and take a new look at them and the relationships that you naturally see in a gallery when paintings are moved around.
The masterpieces that you talk about, would the Thomas Cole paintings be included in that?
Oh, absolutely. They're among our most favorite works in the collection. They are really a superb testament to the early 19th century hope for a better world. You know, the voyage of life. It's four giant paintings that talk about the progress of life from infant to youth to the temptations of adulthood, and then to the final end.
Yeah. There's also a set of those Thomas Cole Voyage of Life paintings in Washington, D.C.
That's true. But the ones at Munson are the originals. Mm-hmm. And the reason there's a second set is in that day, exhibitions consisted of one or two paintings that would travel around the country or the region once a painter finished them. And Thomas Cole made these paintings for a private commission, and the owner would not allow him to send them on view. So the only way he could make money having done them was to paint another set, and that's the set that's at the National Gallery.
The Thomas Cole painter, was he from New York?
Yes, he lived on the Hudson River.
And there's a school of painters called the Hudson Valley or something?
Yes, when a number of painters paint in the same way, we often call that a school. It's not really any sort of organized educational institution. It's really just a group of painters. And so we call that the Hudson River School group because they were living and working over in that region. It was very dramatic. It was easy to get to up from New York City, where many of them had gone to school. Mm. And their heroes were working there, Frederick Church, Thomas Cole. And so a number of painters went up the Hudson River and painted the American landscape.
Mm. How do you is there a way to put a value on those Voyage of Life series? Is there, or is that just out of the question to put a value on them?
Sometimes I say squillions, other times I say zillions.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to put an actual number on them.
Yeah, priceless?
Exactly.
Yeah. When you talk about the masterpieces that you'd like to make sure that are always on display here, what else would fall into that category?
Oh, well, we have a wonderful collection of American modern and contemporary art, meaning essentially works from the 1900s all the way through to the present. And we have also an exceptional collection, a small collection of European works that were bought to give context to the American works. And so that includes artists like Picasso, Mondrian, Kandinsky, Dali, and others.
Did this all start with the Munson, the Williams family, the Proctors? Did this all start there?
It certainly did. The emphasis on quality really was there from the start with our founder, Helen Munson Williams. She really was such an entrepreneur in the 19th century. She took an inheritance and really exploded it, and with her newfound wealth, she really collected well. And our great Frederick Church painting, for example, she bought and hung at Fountain Elms in her home.
You mentioned collections. They were collectors, were they not? The Proctors and Helen Munson. And
yes, her collecting instinct, if you will, passed down to her daughters, who married Proctor brothers, and so that whole family really had a collecting bent.
There are part of their collections on display at Fountain Elms, next door to us. My recollection is they collected spoons, thimbles.
Well, like many collectors, they collected things big and small.
Yeah.
So from paintings to thimbles, yes, or also pocket watches. That's another big collection that was a part of their holdings.
Didn't they also collect autographs?
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Are those on display?
Those aren't on display at the moment, no.
Do you rotate over there?
We do. We rotate all over the building. And we like to leave things on view for a while if they are, if they tell a story that we really want to have be a part of the visit and the experience here.
Now, I poked my head in this morning for a second. It's been a while since I've been at Fountain Elms. But I noticed on the first floor, as you walk in to the left, you walk by a library, and then there's the next room. There's a bed in there. Was that originally a bedroom?
No, that was a parlor in Helen Munson Williams' day. And we really don't show the building as it was furnished by the Proctor family or the Williams family. We show it, excuse me, with works that were, in the collection or bought for the house that tell a story of that whole period. So we don't show a bedroom upstairs, so we made that room into a bedroom on the ground floor.
Okay. Stephen Harrison's our guest. He's the chief curator and director here at the Munson, and that's where we are in the auditorium at the Munson. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We are in the auditorium at the Munson. We're talking with Stephen Harrison, who is Chief Curator and Director here at Munson. You know, Stephen, I'm not sure that everybody, including yours truly, knows how we've got Fountain Elms, we've got a School of Art, we've got a museum, we've got a lot of things here. How is it all broken up?
Well, Munson is, in effect, a large art center. We have a very big campus here, and it's comprised of 3 programming divisions: the Munson Museum of Art, the Pratt Munson School of Art, and then the Munson Performing Arts Division. And really, those are the core elements of Munson itself.
Mm-hmm. When Pratt came in, where did they're aligned with the School of Art?
That's right.
And that gave you
a huge boost.
Yeah, yeah.
A huge boost.
Yeah.
And it's really it's made the School of Art really a very prestigious and sought after course of education.
These young people actually live here.
They do.
Correct?
They do.
And that really kind of changed this neighborhood. Well, I mean, Munson has changed this entire area with their holdings, but I know they renovated on Cottage Place. They renovated some homes and brought them back.
That's right, and we have dormitories as well, and it really makes for quite a lively atmosphere. You know, when the students are here, there's a bounce in everyone's step.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're young kids. That's why there's a bounce in everybody's step.
That's right.
And then it gets overlooked a lot is there's a library, a big library here.
Yes, that's right.
Down on, what street is that, Henry? Or?
Yes, and the library services both the school and our needs here at the Munson Museum of Art.
Now, you've only been on the job less than 3 years, right? What initiatives do you have that you'd like to see brought in here?
Well, I came just after our strategic plan was developed in 2019, a 5-year plan that really set out our goals for engaging our community and making the museum much more accessible. And
accessible in what way, Stephen?
Well, accessible in both the physical aspects of making a building that was built in 1960 more accessible to those with disabilities, but also accessible in the larger sense of that word, making this place one that people see themselves in the galleries, see themselves in the programming. You know, having works on view that they return to as old favorites from over and over, and come to see new things that are shown on the screen, on our film series, on this stage, but also in the galleries themselves, exhibitions, for example. So from my point of view, I want to see our collection on view, really great exhibitions in our exhibition hall, and programming that speaks to everyone.
Are there paintings that you have in storage that you say to yourself, boy, we got to get that out there?
Well, when I came, there were, but that was only, that's only because in a museum that's this size, physically this size, not everything can be on view all the time. And so works had been sent to storage that because of the space that was needed for an exhibition. But if you do some planning around how you would use this space as to that space, you can keep works of art on view, those important ones, those priorities. It's just a matter of making a list of priorities and making sure they are always on view.
Do you still have the service where people can rent paintings and bring them home?
No, we don't. We don't have that any longer.
Yeah.
That was a popular but an old-fashioned program that really does put the work at risk. For not coming back or for being damaged, or it's a nightmare from an insurance point of view.
Is there an exhibition that you're working on now for the future that you give us a peek at?
Well, There are several that I'm working on. I think that just a little while ago we talked about the Hudson River School, and so I think if visitors come back next summer, they might well see quite a few of those paintings on view.
Is there a time that, I mean, are you working a year ahead, 2 years ahead?
Exhibitions are planned anywhere from a year. That's generally the least amount of time that we can use, that we have to do an exhibition, to as many as 3 to 4 years ahead. It's like a swirling hurricane, you know. There's so many details that go into planning an exhibition that it takes quite a while to put them together.
You might not believe this, but there are people in this area that have never been in any of these buildings. This seems to me to be a great time to come down during the outdoor festival.
Absolutely. The easiest way to rectify that, to change that, is to just come on down. There's always something to see here at Munson, and no matter what your interests are, we hope that there's something that will entice you to come back.
Okay, good. We're going to talk with Bob Mortis about the outdoor festival, which I think is really the peak of interest in the Munson this time of year.
Summertime in Utica.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay. We come back, we'll be talking about the aforementioned Bob Mortis. The summer festival is starting today. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We are joined by the aforementioned Bob Mortis. Bob is the Director of Performing Arts. Is that the correct title, Bob? And you've been here how long? Long as I can remember.
Feels like long as I can remember, too. It's been about 25 years for me.
Yeah. And what does the Director of Performing Arts do?
Well, in my capacity as Director of Performing Arts, I am responsible for programming all of our live entertainment. And even some of the film series as well, which is obviously not live. But all of our concerts in the court, the Jeffrey Siegel series, our Art Alive for kids and family events, the film series, and the Metropolitan Live simulcasts from New York City all fall under my department, as well as any special events that might come along that need entertainment, like maybe a museum exhibition opening will need entertainers. We'll find those.
And I've got to believe that the biggest day of your year is today, the opening of the annual Arts Festival, yes?
It's certainly a busy time for the summer, absolutely. We've been working, an entire staff, a committee of dedicated employees works hard behind the scenes to put this together so that today we can launch one of our favorite events of the year.
And there's some changes this year.
Oh, sure.
Bob, let's talk about that. One is you got a tent out there.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Many people will be familiar with the sidewalk art show taking place on a long fence that runs along the sidewalk adjacent to Genesee Street. But that posed some problems over the years. Weather being primary a problem. So this year we've gone back to a method of displaying the art that we did decades ago, back in the 60s and 70s, where we've set up that same fence, just modified a bit, under a large 30 by 75 foot tent. So people will still be able to see the sidewalk artwork, but they'll walk under a tent. It'll be protected from the elements. It'll be accessible all day long. We won't have to cover it and close anything up.
What a nightmare that must have been when it rained to have to put those plastic sheets over all those
Yeah, we'd have to cover everything with plastic. As soon as we got the whiff of rain, we would all go running out from our offices to help as much as we could to cover all the artwork with plastic to make sure it was protected.
Now it starts today and it goes till when?
Saturday, the 29th.
And another change, is that my memory is that you used to close the event with an auto show.
Right.
And now you're opening it.
Exactly. We're kicking off the festival this year on Sunday the 23rd, today, with the car show, which is a change for us.
Yeah, and talk about what that car show involves.
The car show has two elements. There's the what we call the backyard parking lot car show, which is a juried show where people enter their vehicles for accreditation and judgment by the judging team for awards. And then there's the Fountain Elms Invitational, which is an invitation-only event featuring some of the premier class vehicles in the country.
Mm. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the reasons you changed the opening instead of the closing is because you were up against a huge car show, the Syracuse Nationals, yes?
Yeah, they changed up their dates a little bit too, so we had to accommodate that so that we weren't in direct opposition of them on the same weekend. So we were able to find a combination of dates that worked this year for everyone, and I think everyone's happier with that.
There's also going to be some talk about performing arts, Director. Yeah. There's going to be some performances down here.
There are free live concerts by regional and local performers every night. The Monday night concert obviously will be the Levitt Amp UTICA Music Series that happens across the street in Coppernick Park. But the Sunday and then Tuesday through Saturday is all local entertainers providing free events each night starting at 6 p.m.
You know, I want to make sure to mention this. I ran into, by chance, Malcolm Parker.
Yeah.
And over at Fountain Elms. And we got talking, and he was telling me he works security during the day over there, but he's got a band, a group, yeah?
Sure he does. Yeah, Malcolm is one of our gallery security guards. But just like a lot of people here at Munson, there's so much talent among our own staff of employees. Malcolm is an accomplished musician. He's written music, he's formed a band, and he'll be performing at the Munson Festival on Friday.
And he's also doing something, is that July 28th he's doing something?
That's the Friday night of the
festival.
festival.
That's the Friday,
yeah,
okay.
Coming right up.
And it's interesting that he does, got talking to him, but he does commercials, music for commercials, and now what he's going to be performing here during the festival is blues?
Sort of an R&B blues show, yeah. He's put together quite a good assemblage of musicians and singers, and they're going to have a great time on Friday night.
Yeah. The stage is going to be for him and the other performing artists. Yep. Is going to be where?
Right out on front of, in front of the Museum of Art building, adjacent to Genesee Street. It'll be closer to Fountain Elms at that end of the lawn. So if you look at the profile of the street from Genesee Street, you'll see the large tent with all the artwork, and then just to the left will be the open seating area and then the stage.
In previous years, you had the stage kind of back a little bit, didn't you? Wasn't it it was kind of covered by the paintings and...
Oh yes, that fence that ran along the sidewalk would form sort of a courtyard around the performance area, but since we've moved everything under the tent, everything's much more open.
Yeah. Are you closing Genesee Street during the festival?
We have on Saturday, July 29th, we're having a closing day celebration. We're pulling out all the stops. We have more events going on that Saturday than we've ever had going on in a single day of the festival. And a portion of Genesee Street will be closed from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to allow us a little bit more space to spread out and celebrate the end of the festival.
Yeah, talk about some of the things that are going to be happening that day.
That's going to be a family day from noon to 5. We'll have face painting and inflatable obstacle courses. We'll have performances throughout the day one is by a group called Downbeat Percussion out of Rochester. The Uptown Theater for Creative Arts will be here doing an improv showcase. There'll be a poetry reading. There'll be other music events throughout the day, and just so much going on. And then in the evening, we will announce the winners of the Sidewalk Art Show and launch right into a neighborhood DJ dance party by Night Vibe Entertainment, who will be providing all the music for that night. And Woodland Farms Brewery will be providing a beer garden.
And the artists that get into the art show, how does that happen?
So we put out a call for entries into the art show. To be eligible, you must be an artist within a 40-mile radius of Utica. So it's local, regional artists. And on 2 days earlier in the month, they dropped off their entries for consideration. Those individual entries are evaluated based on the amount of space we have and the quality of the work by an anonymous judge who selects the works that will be displayed on the Sidewalk Art Show.
There's probably a lot of people that don't get in that would like to get in, yes?
It's a competitive show, and we're fortunate to have so many talented people in the area, and it's always a difficult decision for our poor anonymous judge, who changes from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
But so in any given year, we could get as many as 250 to 300 submissions, where we might only be able to take 200 to 210 because of space limitations. So it really is a very competitive show, so you're seeing the best the area has to offer.
And some of those paintings are for sale, are they not?
Oh, yes. They'll be marked on their labels with whether or not they're for sale and the price, and if anyone would like to purchase them, those arrangements can be made through our museum shop.
Is there an area that you'd like to get into in the performing arts or the arts that you'd like to expand the outdoor show to? Is there some area? I mean, you're into the cars, you're into the paintings. Are there photographs in that as well?
Yeah, the art show consists of every type of medium, whether it's photography, oil, acrylic, sculpture, everything.
Is there, we've only got a few seconds left, but is there an area you'd like to get in that you haven't gotten into yet?
I'd like to see more community organizations join us at the festival, and we're opening our doors a little bit more to have some representation from local organizations, like the Uptown Theater will be here.
Okay, good. Well, good luck on this year's event.
Thanks very much, Joe.
And that's going to do it for us this week. We'll be doing it again next week. Don't forget cnyhomepage.com. There's a lot of good stuff there. And if you got nothing to do this afternoon, come on down here. Take care of yourself, everybody.